pressure on you, keep your elbows straight, but when I put pressure on you, I want you to resist me as strongly as you can. Right? So we're going to do it without any insoles at the moment, and then we're going to just bring you forward approximately in the same position that you are now in a moment, so that you haven't really moved very much, you're happy with that position. Okay? If you bring your arms up a bit higher if you can, just there, because I want to gauge. I'm just going to gradually increase, okay? So when you're ready, resist me. Okay. Not bad. Okay, I can get you down. Right, and then just step forward and go on the insoles. Now, as I say, there's no wire up here, same thing. And hopefully, again, same position. You ready? Resist. Now, I am really struggling to get him moved. That's the white on my fingers. You feel any more strength through your body there?
It felt easy.
You felt easy?
Easy,
yeah. So, and don't ask me how that's done, because I don't know, but what I do know is that those insoles are bringing strength from the feet up into the arms. And that wasn't just put on, he was stronger. If I could have moved him down, I would have done. So that's how they work, and they are brilliant. They're brilliant for circulation. And that's a little bit of an interesting fact. Now, quick story, and again this is true. I had a grandma ring me up one afternoon and said, these insoles, they're called power strides, but we'll refer to them as insoles. These insoles that you sell, would they be any good for my 10-year-old granddaughter? And I said, for what? She said, yeah, specifically because she does ballet and it might help. And I said, yeah, absolutely, I would think, you know, not a problem. So, given that, she duly purchased a pair of those insoles, and afterwards, 2 or 3 days, I got a phone call, and it was the grandma again, and she said, my granddaughter's just come home from school, and she's complaining that she's got a really bad pain in her wrist. And I said, that's interesting. I said, any reason? Has she been sort of writing a lot at school, or, you know, anything that's happened differently? She said, not really. It's the first day she's put these insoles in, and we're sort of attributing it to that. And I thought, and then it came back to me with my training and things like that, and I just happened to mention, I don't know why, but it came into my, I said, has she ever broken that wrist? And she said, yeah, she broke it 3 years ago, quite badly. And I said, there's the problem. That's come up the body into the arm, and it's found a weak spot. Where that wrist was broken, it's obviously healed, but there's still a weak spot in that wrist. And I said, when you get something like that, because we've known with magnet therapy, not very often, but in extreme cases, a pain, especially if it's a back pain or something like that, can get worse before it gets better. And the advice straight away is, if you get that, take them out, stop using them, reintroduce them slowly, and the body again will become accustomed to it. And she rang me back a few days later after I gave her that advice, and she said, no, she's fine now, she doesn't feel it. So that is a very good analogy of what can happen. And, you know, like I say, if I hadn't demonstrated that, you wouldn't be any sort of more further forward. If I just come out with these and just show you, you go, well, yeah, they're a pair of insoles. But they're a little bit more than that. They work really, really well. Now, we're talking, or we have talked, about static magnets. These are what are known as static magnets. They're placed on the body. Do you want something better than that? Because we've now got it in magnet therapy, and it's a little bit more like people start to talk about pulsed electrical magnetic therapy, whereby what these will take 24 hours to do, this device will do in 3 minutes. In here, there's a large neodymium magnet. Same sort of strength as this, but it works on an axis. So when this is switched on, it spins around. So if we'll take you right back to the beginning again, remember when I did this with the magnets and switched this on. So we've got to get up pretty close and it says, yeah, bleeping away. Take it away, doesn't do anything. Do that, now that field's moving, albeit static, it's moving. And it's picking it up. I stop it and it doesn't. But now here's the big thing. If I now switch it on, just about still going. That's on number 1 speed. If I put it on number 2, believe it or not, it is still, yeah, there it is. That is going right the way through my body. So, a pulsed electrical magnetic field will travel a lot further than a static one, and it will do a job a lot quicker. So in what instances would we need that? Well, somebody's in a wheelchair and they cannot actually move, or they're very limited. You can do that behind that wheelchair and that person will get that treatment. Might not feel anything, but it is penetrating through. This will travel about 12 to 18 inches. My battery on that is quite low, that's why it's not showing as much, but it will travel up to 18 inches, and that is a long way. It doesn't matter what you put behind it. For example, have we got a bit of card or any sort of, I don't know. Hey, can I borrow your lid for the moment? Your top, yeah, that lid for that, yeah. And I don't know. Can you just hold that? It's all right. You lay back again, and then if we switch this on, sorry, better get me pulsed. So can I let you do that from that end if you can still hold that? Number 2 speed, yeah. And just right. Point the white bit sideways on. Yeah, that's coming through your lid and through.
Is that the beeping there, sir? Yeah.
Yeah, the beep is that, yeah. The meter goes up as well, but yeah. So it's not only visual, it's you can hear the sound of it as well. So again, what good's that? Well, it's got a built-in vibration, like a nice little massage in it, but that's purely cosmetic, because the main aim is to get the magnetic field into the body, which does what I explained earlier: speeds up blood supply, brings more oxygen to the area, in turn takes away the acidic area and brings more alkaline. But it is also quite a nice little bit of therapy, because you don't have to place it on the skin. You can actually place it, it'll go through clothing quite nicely. And if you want to have a little go with that, you're more than welcome, and pass it round. So, just do it on your shoulders. And you should feel that that's quite comforting and calming. Now if you've got an area that you can't touch, for example, if you had, say, a knee, you wouldn't put it on the knee cap itself because it would start bouncing. So you do it just in front, but you still get the therapy. The only thing you have to be careful of with something like that is if you've got credit cards in your pocket, things like that, in the wallet, that it can very easily wipe your card, because anything magnetic, obviously, it's quite strong. So that's the basis of what it does. However, not only is it good for humans, and this is where we've really tried to explore, it's also good for pets and animals. And people have said to me in the past, well, it's placebo. If you think it's doing you good, it will do. Well, I've got my colleague who's going to have a quick chat with you just for a few minutes just about animals, because he's had quite a bit of experience doing that. But I had a neighbour who had a cat that was badly arthritic, had a bad back leg. I didn't know her that well, apart from saying hello to her, even though she was just across the road to me. So what I did, I said to her one day, would you be prepared to put a collar, a magnetic collar, on your cat and just see what happens? And she said to me, of course I'll do that, but it's not going to make any difference. And I thought, okay, fine, you know, let her try it. 3 days later, she knocked on my door and she said, my cat is walking a lot better. And I said, so what have you done? And she said, well, I haven't done anything. I said, well, you must have done, because one, you said it wasn't going to make any difference, but secondly, you know, what have you actually, have you changed its diet, have you done, you know? Not a thing, she said, I've just put the collar on. Now that cat didn't get rid of its arthritis, because it was still limping, but it was walking a lot better since it had that magnetic collar on. Now that's not placebo, that is actual fact, because you can't placebo with regard to animals. So that was very good. So we know we've used it on horses, dogs, cats, and again, they don't have to have anything wrong with them. Cats love it. Once they get used to the little buzz and they know it's doing them good, they'll let you go over them and they'll love it. They'll run back. In fact, we've got video footage of one cat who's actually rolled over onto its back so that you can do its belly. And it didn't know anything about that magnetized or magneton before we actually introduced it. So again, you know. So just to give me a quick break, Anthony, would you just like to come up and just reload one?